Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Deanna and you're watching Orchid. I know you guys, it's been absolutely ages since I've posted. I have posted a little bit on Instagram and on the community page, but I admit not very much. It's been probably like 6 weeks maybe since you've last heard from me, but I'm here and I'm going to do a series of updates over the next few weeks, but I have a few things to tell you and I'll probably spend the second half of this video telling you about, I guess, stuff that's been happening, why, or partly why I haven't been posting very much, stuff that's been going on in my life. A lot of it's very exciting, so don't worry, I am totally fine. I have been fine. Anyway, I'll stop blabbing. I will tell you all about it later, but for now we are going to do an update on my Phal Growspace and also on this little grow tent setup. So I'll be honest, the last few months, not only have I not been posting very much, but I haven't been looking after the orchids very well. The houseplants in my house have been doing very poorly, but the orchids, they are so resilient. I don't know why people are so scared of orchids. They have really stood the test of time. Sometimes, honestly, it's been like 3 weeks between waterings. I'm not even kidding. And they've actually all done really well, partly because it is winter. I don't think I could really get away with it over summer. In fact, last summer, the same sort of thing kind of happened and things did not fare as well. But yeah, I think overall they're actually doing fairly well considering my lack of attention. But I will show you what's been happening in this little grow tent as well. So if you guys remember, a few videos ago I did post the setup of this grow tent. I haven't actually changed very much at all. I had some plans, but the reason I haven't changed things very much, I will go through at the end of this video again. I think everything will just fall together once we get to the end of this video. But anyhow, in here, all the plants are doing well. Now, a lot of these guys are actually quite thirsty plants, and they've gotten pretty much watered when I have watered the phals. So again, not that often, but the great thing about this grow tent is it retains humidity. And the plans that I did have for this grow tent, which I will still do at some stage, but just not straight away, is firstly, I'm going to try and put some sort of wire around the edges so I can try out some mounts, because as you guys know, all my stuff is potted, but I would love to have some mounted orchids, and I do know a lot of orchids just do better mounted. So that's the first thing I want to do. The second thing is to raise the humidity even further. I want to put a tray under this, just with some water in it. It just maintains a bit of an ecosystem of high humidity in here, which will be nice. And the third thing is to put a little shelving tray of some sort. I was thinking maybe like a spice rack or something like that, just so I can tier a few plants and maybe fit a little bit more in here. So I've got a few anthuriums back here. So this one here is an anthurium, and so is this. Both of those are very thirsty, and when I haven't watered and they've been dried out a little bit, they are the most noticeably dramatic. So they get quite droopy if I don't water them and they dry out. The rest of them are a little bit more resilient. So I've got a few baby philodendrons back here, and the phals in here are doing absolutely fine. So this one has actually grown a little cakey, this baby Schilleriana, which I think it was already actually starting to grow when I put it in here, but I just didn't notice. So that cakey's growing well. That's a baby Bellina there. Down here, the little jewel orchids they're doing absolutely fine. So they are also extremely thirsty, but I did notice because the humidity stays a little bit higher in here, they've been a little bit more resilient between waterings. The other ones, which I'll also show you today, get quite droopy when I don't water them. So they really tell me when they need a drink. But yeah, overall, these guys are pretty stable, all doing well. Overall, not a lot happening. This Gloriosum has just started putting out a little growth here, if you can see that down there. So in case you guys haven't seen it, the video I posted of this setup was probably about 2 months ago. I'm overall really happy. This grow light is pretty amazing. It does not produce a lot of heat, which is really good for this grow tent, and it's going to be really, really good over summer as well. I pop this on at night, mainly for energy conservation through summer. That's just kind of what makes sense. It's a bit cooler at night. If you guys are interested, I will put the link to where I got this Spider Farmer grow tent and grow light system from in the description below, and I also have a little discount code as well if you want to use that link below. As I mentioned, the Phals I've just generally been exceptionally impressed with. They have done so well. If they stay dehydrated for an extended period of time, they might like lose an old leaf. Overall, they have been progressing very well. There's one down here that does look a bit stressed, which I'll show you, and there were originally some recovering ones anyway. Now we'll start down here with the jewel orchids. Overall, they're doing well. They're all hanging in there, and honestly, for orchids that do like staying consistently wet, I haven't been watching them as closely as I should, and they have been drying out. These guys over here certainly let me know, and I was worried that I would lose some. I'd come out here and like this guy would just be drooping all the way down over the edge, but as soon as you water them, they just perk straight back up. They're actually very, very thirsty for such little plants as well. Like I'll fill this tray up as well when I'm watering, and they'll just continue to drink that, and a week later it's gone. So I'm interested to see how they do over summer, because it's kind of just warming up over the last couple of weeks here. It's going to be interesting. The Ludicea that was struggling, you can see that there's a few little growths that are popping out of the sides there. So it's doing quite well considering it was so stressed when I got it. And check this out. I have got flower spikes. Look at the foliage on this girl. So pretty. So this one basically started spiking as soon as I planted it. I got it bare root, and interestingly, every single growth actually spikes. So can you guys see? I'm trying to get it into focus, but this little section actually fell off, and I planted it actually to grow out to give to one of you guys, but it is going ahead and growing a bud as well. This tiny little thing. So that is pretty cool, and I don't know if these flowers will be very impressive or not. This is a Ludicea crossed with an Anictochilus, but I think they'll just be cute, very unassuming flowers. Now, as you can see up here, I've actually got buds and spikes everywhere, but I'm just going to show you the blooms today because I have a few and they're all very, very pretty. This one is a no ID called Stella. You can see how big and gorgeous these flowers are. So this one was from my grandma a long time ago and named after her sister Stella, who passed away a few years ago. This is one of my very first orchids, and it used to be my little thumbnail picture on Orchid, but if you guys have noticed, I've actually changed the banner and my thumbnail on YouTube. My lovely friend Sammy did those up for me. Over here I have got a first blooming on this one from M&S. This is Matuo King. Look how glossy that is. She is absolutely stunning. Over here I've also got another first blooming. This is Phal Fuller's Black Leopard. Also got this at the beginning of the year from Robertson Orchids, I think. Look how gorgeous that is. Another no ID here. Just a pretty little pink one. And for the first time, I've got a double spike on this orchid. I've actually got quite a few double spikes this year, which is really nice. I think it's mostly due to these grow lights, which I introduced this year. Honestly, it's not because of my excellent watering habits. Up here, I've got one that I got in bloom last year, and she's a branching phal. You can see all the buds that are developing down here on other branches, but this one I have named after my grandma. So this is Phalaenopsis Lorraine. A no ID actually. Just so stunning. Sorry guys, the lights just cut out on me. Anyway, I'll show you this one, which is the one that I told you was struggling. So this is one that I got at the beginning of the year from Robertson's Orchids. It was actually doing well and it's spiking at the moment. Oh, actually those blooms are just about to open up. So for those of you looking for orchid tips, this orchid, you should definitely cut the spike off to save it. I don't actually have the energy to rescue any orchids at the moment, so I'm going to be a totally bad orchid mum, and I'm going to sacrifice this for the blooms. I'm going to enjoy the blooms, and after it blooms out for a little bit, I'm going to cut that bloom spike and just see how it goes. It's probably destined for the bin. I'm really sorry, little orchid, and I'm sorry to you guys who really feel like you're soul crushing when you see stuff like this, but unfortunately that is the decision that I'm making. So this is Phalaenopsis allura Starlight, and she's very cute. Actually, can you see a little bit of fuzz on the bottom of that lip there? What a little cutie. Here we've got Phal Stewartiana in absolutely gorgeous form. I think these flowers are actually a bit bigger than last year, but look how gorgeous that is. I just adore the pattern on this. And up above here, you guys might remember this one. This is a Phalaenopsis I got from the grocery store a few months ago. I actually repotted it back in May, I believe, and look, the repotting video is sitting in the bank waiting to be edited. In fact, I have a lot of videos sitting on my computer waiting to be edited, but honestly, like, just haven't been able to edit. That is probably one of the hurdles that I've been facing in the last few months. I haven't had the energy to edit, but also I hurt my back quite a few weeks ago, and I haven't been able to sit for a long period and edit. So this is probably just a warning for the future videos as well. They're not going to be like fantastically edited. They're probably going to be a little bit raw and rambly. I hope you guys are okay with that. Anyhow, this one is absolutely beautiful. I don't usually buy grocery store Phalaenopsis, but I couldn't resist with this one. And just a few more blooms to show you down here. This is Phal. Well, it's a no ID, and I named it Buttercup just because it's got like a buttery green yellow background, cute little pink patterning. I got it in bloom last year along with Lorraine up there. This is just a simple white Phal that I got from my friends a couple of years ago when my beautiful puppy Sebastian passed away. These blooms are fading, but you can see a couple more buds developing there on Smile Kitty. And do you guys remember my keiki video from a couple of months back? Well, this is the little keiki now in bloom. So this plant belongs to my mother-in-law, so I will give it back to her when I see her next, but she is down at the Gold Coast and I just haven't been down there for a while. The mother plant is doing fine. It's actually down here. Just excuse the fallen flowers there. It's actually not doing anything. It has grown some roots, but the plant itself hasn't really done anything. I suspect it might actually end up growing a basil keiki or something because there's no signs of a new leaf, and I do wonder if there's something going on with that crown. This is a new one. Let me just get the name for you. This is Tsu Chang Balm. I got her early this year, I think from Robertson Orchids as well with that haul. It's very, very cute. Hang on. I hope that's in focus for you guys. This is the first blooming for this one, and it's chucking out another flower spike back there. This one is another one of the Phal alluras, Paradise I believe, and this is the second flush of blooms for this one. You can see where it's bloomed before in the back there. This little mini Phal down here, another no ID. I've named it Fantasia. It's actually not looking as good as it can in this lighting, but in the right lighting it just sort of has this pink red tone that sort of makes it look a little bit cool, a little bit psychedelic. It's a pretty cute plant. And up here we've got another no ID that my friend gave me last year when I was a bit unwell. So guys, that is an update on my Phal Growspace and the Spider Farmer Growtent. Again, if you want any details about the Growtent and the grow light in there, I will put it in the description below. So I hope you guys did enjoy this update. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. For those of you guys who aren't regular subscribers, feel free to tap out. But for those of you who know me and are interested in a little bit of a life update, stick around because I have two very big pieces of information to tell you. So the first thing is this week we signed a contract on a new house, so it's still subject to finance. You know, the bank has to approve all this stuff that they do, but it looks like we are probably going to be moving in a month or so. So it is going to be super hectic. So even though I promised you guys updates, they may take quite a haphazard form, but I will try my best. I think it will help me not to edit very much, so I hope you guys don't mind a little bit of rambling, my ums and ahs and things like that, and I will prioritize posting as opposed to making perfectly edited videos. But yeah, the main reason we're moving is because both Jared and I work on the south side of Brisbane, on the other side of town. Currently we're on the north side and we're both commuting, and we've been keeping an eye out for quite some time for, I guess, the right house, and we found it, and I'm really excited to move there and to move these orchids, because after we move I will actually have the space and the yard to finally put my dream shade house in. So that will be exciting. It will be a project, and it may not happen straight away, but it is definitely now at least a possibility since I have a yard to move into. Now the second piece of information might explain a little bit why I guess I haven't been posting very much recently. Look, I'm just gonna tell you guys, I wish there was a mirror in here. Oh, actually, surprise! I am 16 weeks pregnant. So I don't know if that really does explain why I haven't been posting. Look, I have been so fatigued and nauseous in my first trimester. Like, I had no idea I could be so tired. Like, I do massive shifts and massive on-calls with my work, and I have never felt this degree of tiredness from virtually doing nothing. So that's why the orchids have been neglected. That's why I have hurt my back in the last few weeks. I wasn't doing anything in particular. I think I sneezed in the shower and I put my back out. So it's been a very exciting time. Obviously, like, this is a joyous time for Jared and I, and there's going to be some big changes. But look, the orchids are still a huge part of my life. They bring me massive joy. And just because I haven't been looking after them as well as I should, it doesn't mean like the sight of these flowering beauties doesn't take my breath away. So yeah guys, fairly short and sweet, big life update. So I hope you guys forgive me for my lack of presence on YouTube. I don't mean for it to sound like it's a big excuse, but honestly, I don't know, I just could not muster the energy. Luckily, now that I've entered my second trimester, things are getting easier. The nausea is settling, the fatigue is going away. Actually, I kind of feel like I have the same amount of energy again. However, you might be able to hear I'm just short of breath from doing nothing sometimes. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell at the moment, and it's going to be a super busy 2 months. So I hope you guys bear with me. I hope you enjoyed this video and this update. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and happy growing until I see you next time. Bye.